Hi, welcome to the Badass Breastfeeding Podcast. This is Dianne, your lactation consultant.
And I'm Abby, the Badass Breastfeeder. And today's episode is brought to you by Rumina Nursing Wear's Pump and Nurse Collection. All-in-one products that you can both breastfeed as well as pump hands-free in. And we'll hear more about that later on after our review of the week.
Yes, our review of the week comes from Never Again. Says thanks for making. I know it's kind of fun. Like, kind of on a side note here, the titles of some of our reviews are fantastic.
Totally.
I'm a first-time mom and had my baby in October. He came 7 weeks early, and I was completely caught off guard. Nothing I had planned worked out. He was in the hospital for 3 weeks with the nurses bottle fed and used a pacifier. I wanted to breastfeed, but was told he didn't have the strength to do it, and in order for him to be released, the best thing was to use the bottle. When he got him home, I tried breastfeeding again, but I feel like I was brainwashed into thinking he still couldn't handle it and that I wasn't enough for him. Thank goodness I found your podcast because you gave me the confidence to keep trying. You made me feel like a good mom and reassured me that my baby will be okay. Thanks so much for handling topics that are so relatable. I just can't get enough. And oh my God, girl, this is like so amazing.
7 weeks. Yikes.
Yes. Whenever
freaking out.
Whenever you have a baby that is in the hospital for any reason, whether they're early or maybe they're a little bit, sick when they're born and they're doing lots of bottle feeds or they're doing lots of supplementing and you're stressed out, like that is so hard to overcome and go on to breastfeed when everybody's telling you your baby needs this, your baby needs this, your baby's too weak, your baby's not going to breastfeed. Oh, your baby had bottles. Like, so much credit to this mom because this is so hard to overcome. And the fact that like it helped her to listen to us, makes me feel so good because it is really hard. It is really, really hard. So congratulations to you. You can overcome anything because that is really, really tough.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times I think in those situations, and I've never been in that situation, so I'm totally talking out of my ass.
I was going to say that out your ass.
But that, yeah, I mean, I think in a lot of those situations too, and you're surrounded by people that are like perpetuating a lot of this misinformation. Mm-hmm. A lot of the wrong information, a lot of just the, this lactation misunderstandings and bad info, that we're always talking about. And when people get the correct information, it's so incredibly powerful.
Oh my gosh, it really is.
It can totally just changes everything.
Yeah, it is. So congratulations to you. And thanks for letting us know about it. I love it.
Yes.
And send us reviews. We love them. And we know that they really help us too on iTunes. So it would be really great if you can. We'd love to hear from you. And we've been getting some really great suggestions off some of them too. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
What else do we got?
We've got an awesome episode again where Dianne and I are going to play our favorite game where we came up with our favorite milk supply myths, but we didn't tell each other. And so we'll see how many match.
Yeah, and I did mine in advance this time.
And did you really? Yeah. All right, because last time she was like, oh, yeah, I totally did it. And I could hear her like writing really fast.
I know. Yeah, I was totally doing it. Mm-hmm. But this time I did it. But as I was writing them, I'm like, we're totally going to have a lot of the same ones.
I think we will. Yeah, because there's a lot of these. I mean, I just today was talking to a person who believes that they have low milk supply because their breasts never feel full.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, it's just the same stuff over and over again, despite all of the times, that we talk about it. It doesn't matter because there's entities out there that are bigger than us that are perpetuating this bad information and just we're not getting exposed to the correct information. Right. So that's what we like to do. We like to bust myths.
Yes, we do. And we will today. They're going to be busted out to God knows where. Kingdom Come. That's where they're going because the milk myths, they're going down.
There are plenty.
Enough. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a full supply of milk supply myths.
Hey, that was a good one. That's very good.
I came up with that just right now. Too.
All right. I'm very proud. Do you want to go first with your first one?
Sure.
Okay.
And so, well, I already let you know actually what my actual first one was when my breasts feel empty. And so I feel like I have low milk supply.
Not true.
No, it's not true at all.
No, not
Actually,
at all.
when it's totally normal for your milk to come in and for you to feel engorged, but that is not how it should stay. It won't stay that way. It won't. It's not possible. That means there's too much milk in there. Your body is just kind of like just getting started. It's like, whoa, I'm going to make all this milk. And then when it realizes that it's turning you into like cottage cheese balloon, it's like, oh, wait, that's too much. Your breasts will feel normal.
You don't want to walk around full and uncomfortable?
No.
That's people have even said to me, like, is this how it's going to be? No. But it is also very different for everyone. And that's where I think this whole myth comes from, because you'll get moms that have had like, 2 or 3 babies where they have, you have more milk with each baby. So you're more full, you're feeling more full. And then you might say to your friend who just had her first one, oh, you don't feel full? You don't feel, you should feel full for, still. Are you sure you have enough milk and blah, blah, blah? Or maybe, your mother-in-law told you that, but she hasn't had a baby in 43 years. So maybe she doesn't remember what it was like to actually have milk come in. Some women just, it's because of capacity and how much your breast can hold. Like, just don't have that. Just don't feel like that. Some women don't leak where some do. Like, it's all different for everybody.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean the milk's not there. It just
right. It's not a glass of water.
Right.
It's not just like, you fill it up and then it's full. Like your breasts were actually like designed with milk ducts and all of these inner workings to hold this is why you have breasts. It wouldn't make sense. This is why it's to hold the milk. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't make sense that it would just be like filled up and uncomfortable all the time. Like your body is smarter than that. It knows how to like, make it work and feel normal and comfortable. And, you won't feel like you've got, like water balloons stuck to you all the time.
Right.
I mean, again, don't freak out when you at first have that, because that's normal too. But when it starts to go away, that's just your body starting to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And the milk is not going away. It's just providing what your baby needs.
Yeah, you're just adapting.
Yeah.
Normal.
So that's a big one for me. Yeah. I hear that a lot.
Yeah, I do hear that one a lot. I do. Or I try to like overcome it, because I see moms a lot of times early in the game when the milk is just starting to come in, and I'll tell them, like, you're not going to feel like this forever. This is just in the very beginning, and then it's going to go away, and then you're going to wonder, why don't I feel so full? But that's normal. So I try to catch that early, because it is so common. But you get people that just kind of like, ask you from all over, just ask you these random questions, and they probably never had anybody that told them that.
No, right. Yeah. Yeah, because when you're in the hospital or you're in these places, like, there's not people there that are giving you this, here's what's going to happen next. I mean, generally, you leave the hospital having no idea what to do for the rest of the day. You're like, what am I supposed to do now? Right. You have no idea what's going to come. People don't prepare you for it. And, like, it's not really set up for that, to work for that. Well, there's a lot going on there. There's a lot, there's too much going on. They can't do absolutely everything. They can't prepare you for the first year. They can't give you all that information. But yeah, so people come home not knowing and not having heard any of this.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, that was a good one.
Okay, your turn.
Sure. The first one I thought of, is my milk not fatty enough? Is it too thin?
Yes.
The milk is too thin. Maybe there's not enough fat in my milk. No.
Yes.
Oh my God, all the time. So the other day, one of my mamas that I love comes to my group, and she had 2 bottles of milk with her, like little, like little bottles of milk with her. And she goes, I just need to show you this milk. I'm like, okay. And she's like, is it okay? Because my husband saw it and said there wasn't hardly any fat in here and that it wasn't okay. And I'm like,
he can tell the fat content by looking at it.
I was like, no, it's perfectly fine. Milk changes depending on the day, depending on the time of day you pump, depending on the baby's need. It doesn't look the same when you pump it 2 days in a row. It just doesn't. So don't ever think it looks too fat, or if the baby's not gaining well, or if the baby's not gaining as much as people think the baby should gain, they might say, oh, maybe you just don't have enough fat in your milk. Like, that is not a thing.
Right.
Like, it doesn't work like that.
Right. Again, this is what your body was designed to do. It's not going to make mistakes.
Right.
It's not going to be like, oops, I forgot to add fat to this milk.
Yeah, that's not.
Oh, I forgot to put enough calories in here. It doesn't happen. Whatever milk is coming out is perfect.
That's all your baby needs.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this, is you don't have to think about that.
Yeah, so never worry about that. Never worry about.
That's a good one. That's another, people really get worried. And that's the thing too, is that this is perpetuated by medical professionals all over. You know, they're like, well, you know, breast milk isn't fatty enough. You need to switch to cow's milk. You know, all these things about breast milk that is just wrong.
And I really struggle with it at times when there's like, when we have preemies. And I don't, you know, I didn't work in the NICU. I wasn't a NICU nurse. I know there's people who are, God bless them, because that's got to be so hard. But I know a lot of times when you do have very, very early babies, they put them on formula, or they have them add formula that has extra calories in it because they want to boost the calories of the baby. And there's still that part of me that is like, how do we know though? How do we know that the mom's milk, we don't know what the calorie content is? And I know people say, oh, milk, you know, breast milk is, you know, 23 calories or something. I don't know. It's something.
Yeah, there's always those. There, yeah, you can find those ingredient lists out there.
Right.
With the percentages and everything.
Right. But it's like, but that's not exact.
No, especially since it's changing all the time.
And we know that for preemie babies, especially too, your body's making milk that's necessary for a preemie baby. So I really struggle with that. Like internally, like with my education about it, and then the whole cultural, societal knowledge, I really struggle with it because I have a hard time believing that the milk we make isn't good enough for them, because I know it is. I know it's exactly what they need. So that bothers me. But yeah. All right. What do you got?
All right. My next myth about your milk supply is the amount of milk that you're pumping represents the amount of milk that is inside of your breast.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because this happens all the time. You know, how can I increase my milk supply? I'm only getting like 1 or 2 ounces at a time. Or I can only pump drops, or I used to pump this much and now I'm pumping this much. And so people think that what the pump is pulling out is what's inside.
That's not the case.
Not at all.
Mm-mm. And that pumping is very deceptive, and it's very mental. And it's just really like, you can see it, and it stresses people out, and it's a very, very incorrect way to gauge what your milk supply is like. And one of the things that I hear a lot, which I don't know, which is more recent. I've heard moms will call me and say, well, I tried pumping and I'm only making an ounce.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know where we're getting this from, because it used to be that people say, oh, I only pumped this much, or maybe I'm only making this much, but it's like, I'm only making an ounce. I tried pumping, but I'm only making an ounce. No, you're making way more than that. You're making way more than what you pump.
Only got an ounce out.
Right. You don't even know how much you're making. Honest to God, we have no idea.
It's way more than you think.
Yeah. It's not. It's not what you're pumping, and it's not what the baby's taking. You're making way more than that.
Right. And people respond. Every single person's going to respond differently to a pump. Mm-hmm. And pumping is like a very intricate art form where you have to really learn how to do it in order to get, enough milk out. And even when you do, you're still not completely emptying your breast.
No,
like a pump's just not going to do that.
Mm-mm.
But that's why it's so telling. And if you can do this, try it. Getting a weigh before and after a feed.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
And that's, I think, what people see like, whoa, really?
Yeah.
Like, that's how much my baby just ate. And then you're going to be like, how in the world was that all in there? I feel empty.
It's crazy.
But my baby just ate 3.5 ounces. How is that possible?
It's real. Yeah, the pumping is it's just a tool. I tell people that all the time. It's just a tool. It's just something that we use to be able to leave milk for the baby when we're not with the baby. But it's nothing to gauge milk supply. That's why, like, sometimes people will say, oh, well, the doctor told me that I should just, like, pump for a day to see what the baby's getting.
Yeah, right. Oh, my God.
That is, like, I mean, I
Why?
still hear that regular. And I'm like, what is that? That does nothing.
It doesn't do
nothing.
anything. And why even?
Right.
Like, why? There's no reason to ever do that. Mm-mm. Why do... That's again with breastfeeding. You don't need to like be knowing. You don't need to be doing. You don't need to be counting every ounce.
No,
just feed them on demand.
Ugh. I think we're gonna get more pissed off as we go along here.
Yes, we are, and maybe we should stop for a break.
Okay, let's have a little rest break.
A little rest. Okay, today's episode is brought to you by Rumina Nursing Wear. If you're a mom holding your flanges in place or trying to keep them propped up with your knees while pumping and never getting as comfortable as you want, there is a game changer out there. Rumina's Pump and Nurse collection has a variety of all-in-one, hands-free pumping tank tops and bras that you can both nurse and pump in, even at the same time. Their patented design allows moms to comfortably wear all day. When baby wants to nurse, you nurse. And when you need to pump, you can pump hands-free and never have to disrobe or put on extra garments. Rumina's amazing all-in-one products can help you have a more comfortable and seamless breastfeeding experience. Check out Rumina's Pump and Nurse collection at pumpandnurse.com to see why thousands and thousands of breastfeeders are choosing Rumina for their breastfeeding journey. And special for January 2020, if you're listening right now, head to pumpandnurse.com because Rumina is having a sale. Some items are up to 60% off. They're clearing stuff out. Go over there, take advantage of this. Up to 60% off, pumpandnurse.com. And our sponsors and promo codes and their direct links can be found at badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com. Along with breastfeeding resources, all of our other episodes, you can check out our show notes for links that we talk about and further information about the topic in this episode, and information about scheduling your lactation consultation with Dianne. And I also want to let you know about a sale going on my website, thebadassbreastfeeder.com. I'm doing a clearance sale. All these shirts need to go. I'm done with shirts. 30% off. No code needed, no deadline. Go over there, get some shirts, thebadassbreastfeeder.com. And we're adding in a fun new little thing here in our podcast called our breastfeeding tip of the week.
Courtesy of our listeners, by the way.
Courtesy of our listeners. Yes, this is coming directly from the Badass community on Facebook and Instagram. And today's breastfeeding tip of the week comes from Michelle Ann Palmer. Thank you so much for your contribution. She says, when baby feeds constantly, don't think it's because they aren't getting enough. Let them feed all day if they want to. They are increasing your supply.
That's a perfect
one.
And
I love how that totally ties in. Yes, yeah. Exactly.
That's a perfect one.
Yes. Thank you, Michelle. That is so true. There is so much truth to that. And that is just, that's another one. And if we want to just get right back into it, that's my next one.
Oh.
My next one is my baby is constantly nursing. I must not have enough milk.
That's a good one. And one I did not think of because that's not on my list.
Yeah, I mean, this is what people are freaking out. They're like, oh my God, my baby's nursing again. They've been nursing all day. They've been nursing all night. They must not be getting enough. And maybe they're fussy on top of it too. Oh my God, they're fussy. They're nursing constantly. I'm empty. They're dissatisfied. They're hungry. They're not getting enough. That is not what is happening.
Right. That is not what is happening. They nurse for way more reasons than just for food.
Right. They're going to nurse all the time anyway.
Yeah.
You can have milk spilling out of your ears. They're going to still be latched on, fussy too, because they're babies and they're just fussy pants people.
Yeah. Yes.
And, they go through things. And, like, your baby will maybe go through times where they are, like, cluster feeding and they're nursing more frequently than maybe what you were used to. But just let them do it. Let them do it as much as possible. They're, like Michelle said, they know how to increase your supply.
They know what they're doing.
They do. Just let them do it.
Yeah.
It's like we're interfere so much that we mess with the process.
I mean, and it makes them so calm and content. Like, why are we fighting it?
Yeah, well, because they probably normally were calm and content at the breast, and then they start to get fussy, right? And then it's like,
oh dear, what's happening?
There's a problem. Mm-hmm. No, there's a million things going on. They're constantly going through, developmental stuff and growth stuff and teeth stuff and all kinds of things that are going to make them fussy, or they're like, oh, it's time to, here's my next, growth spurt. So I'm going to be upping my supply by nursing a little bit more. That's how you do it. That's how they do it.
That's how they make it work.
Yeah. You can even rest assured when they're nursing more frequently, you can go, okay, my baby knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. I know. We're so quick to like doubt the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't. All right.
What's your next one?
Blue Gatorade or teas. Oh,
God. Oh, that is a great one.
Will increase your milk supply.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I could probably make a whole list of things that people say increase milk supply that doesn't.
Of course.
But I get fascinated by ones that are really like, what? Like that kind of...
Blue Gatorade? What did we do before Blue Gatorade?
I don't even... What would it be about it? I don't understand. What, the food coloring? Like, what is it about that would... like, that's what I don't understand. People say...
I don't know.
Oh,
yeah,
well,
if you drink Blue Gatorade, fine. Go ahead and drink it. But don't... The best way to increase your milk supply is to let your baby nurse as frequently as possible.
Right. Stimulation. That's what does it. Stimulation.
Not Blue Gatorade.
There's no like magic potion that you can take to make your supply increase. It's all about stimulation. And if you think that there is a supply issue, the best thing is to see a lactation consultant and find out what is the issue. Is there really a problem? Yeah. Or is it just, you think there's a problem?
Or is it normal? Is it totally normal?
It could be totally
Because it could be totally normal. Mm-hmm. Like all the things that we're talking about now. You just didn't have the information. Like so many of us.
Yes. What else you got?
All right. I have. But my baby finished a bottle after breastfeeding.
Oh,
so
good one.
I must not have enough milk.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were still hungry. And they finished that whole bottle.
Yes. And the other, what else goes along with this is the idea that the breast is just empty, which doesn't happen.
Yeah,
so sometimes moms will say, well, yeah, I breast, but he didn't seem satisfied, so we gave him a bottle. And he took it. So he must have been still hungry. Well, why wouldn't we just put him back on the breast? Like that.
Right,
if we don't think he's satisfied.
Yeah. There's no bone dry in your breast.
Right.
Like your body's always making milk.
But I guess we figure
there's always enough.
He was already there and, doesn't seem satisfied. So we have to give him a bottle and stuff. No. And because he takes a bottle or she, the baby, takes a bottle after feeding does not mean anything other than he just took a bottle. And
means that you put a bottle in his mouth.
Yeah.
And because that's the thing, right? That you put a baby like on their back in your arms and you stick a bottle in their mouth. They don't have any choice but to suck and swallow.
Right. That's an
There's
involuntary
no
reflex for them. It's involuntary for 3 months. The first 3 months of their lives, that suck reflex is involuntary. You put that bottle in, they're going to take it.
They don't have a choice.
Yeah. So it really is all about knowing the process and being educated on that stuff, and really knowing like, okay, do we really need this? So he took it. Does that mean he really needed it? What I love is after he takes it and then I will be like, well, does the baby spit up? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Then he spit it all up.
But then nobody realizes that's
reflux.
like a thing, like he was overfed now. Now we don't need that.
Right. Well, and it's because people are breastfeeding. I'm like, oh, I've been breastfeeding for a long time. So baby starts to get fussy, and then it's like, okay, well, they're not nursing now. And then they're fussy. They must be still more hungry. Babies are fussy. They're just super fussy, and you gotta, change their diaper, turn the lights down, put a blanket on them. We don't have any idea like what they're reacting to. But if they're nursing on demand at your breast, they're not hungry and crying, like fussy, like, oh my God, I'm so hungry. I'm starving. I'm fussy because I'm starving. This is not what goes on with a baby.
No, not at all.
They're fussy because there's something else. You put them on the breast. If they don't want to be there, then try to change their diaper. They're probably tired because after they nurse, especially like if they're, they're nursing and then they're probably tired. Mm-hmm. Good babies are friggin' tired all the time. I have a 5-year-old who's tired all the time.
My 17-year-old is. Drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, will you get out of bed?
Everything that goes on with him, I'm just like, you're tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I mean, like, we're all just like, life is tiring. It's just tiring. And a baby, like, just got here and they're in this world. It's just like, this is an exhausting place to be.
Oh my God.
So, if you can put them in like a sling or a wrap or something like that, walk around, walk up down your hallway, just swam, just know that they are content, that they need to go to sleep, that they're a little fussy, and they'll get through it. They're not starving.
Right. They're absolutely not.
And especially, the bottle thing is not a sign that you have no milk supply. Low milk supply.
No, not at all. Don't even entertain that thought. All right, my next one is...
we have not had a match yet.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
That's amazing.
I know. I really thought we would. My next one is that after time, the milk loses nutrients.
Okay. Yeah, see? We still don't have a match.
Oh my God, I thought for sure you'd have that one.
No.
So, yeah, that's one we hear, especially if you're an extended breastfeeder. Or anytime after 6 months almost, I feel like I hear that. Right. That the nutrients, it's just not the same. You just don't have, your breast milk doesn't have the nutrients that the baby needs. So... you're going to have to supplement or give something else.
Yeah, you have to supplement. You have to drink cow's milk. You have to do all of these things. That's not
true. Your breast milk has what the baby needs at that time. Does not all of a sudden disappear in its nutrients. It's like become completely, non-nutritional, water or something.
Well, and water is nutritious, first of all. Not that your breast milk is ever water, but like even when people say that, like, oh, it turns to water. Well, water is really good for you. Your body's like 70% water. And breast milk is mostly water, but it's also got like amazing nutrients in it always.
Yeah. Always. It doesn't just like lose it. So don't worry about that ever. If somebody tries to tell you that,
it doesn't make any sense either. It doesn't make sense that something that was designed to nourish someone would just shrivel up and like it doesn't make any sense. It just like just go away and no longer be nutritious. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. Incorrect.
Myth. Busted.
Yes.
All right, this is my last one.
Okay.
You're not leaking.
Oh, good one. We did not have any of the same.
That is so funny.
It is, because I thought for sure we would. I thought they'd all be the same.
Yeah, last time we had a whole bunch of when we did the like myths that won't die, we had a whole bunch of the same ones. But that's what and especially because we have like Fairhaven Health has that awesome milk saver, and then I talk about that online and people are like, "Oh, but I don't leak. Is that a problem?" No. I never leaked either. I think I leaked one time when my baby slept like a bunch of hours longer than they normally did.
Yeah.
And I woke up in it was obviously very early. They were like a few weeks old or something like that. And I woke up in a pool of milk. And that was the only time that ever happened. I never leaked. But that's completely independent from your milk supply.
Absolutely.
That just like happens to some people and doesn't happen to other people. We don't even know why. I mean, I don't know why. Do you know why?
I do not, but I do know that it's very individualized. Maybe it just has to do with like I don't know. I'm not even going to venture a guess, but
Yeah, right. Because who knows? Who cares?
I know.
It just doesn't matter. That's not at all related.
People worry about that before having the baby. Like that sometimes is a question I'll get in prenatal breastfeeding classes where they're like, well, what about leaking? Because nobody wants to walk around with big old wet spots on their shirt. But that doesn't happen to everybody. Not everybody leaks. So it does not have any kind of sight into how much milk you're making if you're leaking or not. Just doesn't.
Totally.
So no worries about that.
Do you have any more? Because I'm done.
I do have a couple more.
Okay.
That there's less milk at night. You hear that one a lot.
What?
Yeah.
No.
That there's less milk at night. People say that because babies are fussier in the evening and at nighttime.
Oh my God. Yeah, no.
So they'll always be like, oh, there's less milk. I have less milk at night. I have no milk at nighttime. There's nothing.
Yeah. And just like night comes and night falls, here comes the sun goes away and so does my supply.
Right. Yeah. That's pretty much what happens.
No.
That's not the case. Babies are just fussy. It has nothing to do with feeding.
Right.
Yeah.
Babies are fussy. Then here comes night. Then they're even fussier.
Yeah. So that is not an indication of your milk supply at all. And I don't know. I have a really hard time thinking that like your milk supply is sometimes abundant and sometimes not, through the course of a day. It's what it's supposed to be. It's not like, oh, you're always going to have a little bit more in the morning because overnight your hormones are higher, which is what boosts a lot of that milk. But you don't go all day just like, oh, at 11 o'clock I had a ton of milk and at 2 o'clock I had no milk. Like it doesn't happen like that.
Right. Again, we don't need to even think about it.
Mm-mm.
You're like, all of this was designed so that we didn't have to like really think about it.
But we think way too much about it. I'll tell you.
We really, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the lack of information creates so much anxiety because people just don't have the information. Once you have the information, you can kind of relax.
Yeah. Now, my last two I'll do real quick. The baby is allergic to the milk.
Oh my God.
That's always I'm always like, what? I haven't heard it in a while. Every once in a while, like I'll hear it. Sometimes it comes under the guise of like, oh yeah, my friend told me that her baby was the doctor said her baby was allergic to her milk because maybe they had rashes or maybe they were spitting it up or whatever. Your baby cannot be allergic to your milk. That is not a thing. You cannot grow this human being and then them be allergic to the milk. That doesn't even make any sense.
No.
There's something else going on there. It has nothing to do with the baby being allergic to your milk. It's just makes me
that's just wackadoo.
Yeah. And the whole concept of my milk never came in. You ever heard anybody say that? My milk never came in.
Never came in?
Never came
yeah.
in.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Never.
Yes.
Never had a drop. I'm like, I've never seen that happen where milk, like nothing happened. Like absolutely no milk, nothing.
Right.
Would come in. Like something's going to happen. Like even if you're somebody like maybe if you had breast surgery or, some other reason why you might have low milk supply, doesn't mean your milk never came in. Like that doesn't happen. And I'll hear people say that as like an excuse for why they didn't breastfeed. Well, my milk just never came in. How is that possible?
Well, and you don't need an excuse.
No, if you don't want to breastfeed,
if that's
then
what you
breastfeed.
if that's what you choose, then that's what you choose.
Right.
But if you're worried about that doesn't happen. It's not like your body's just gonna like be like, "Oops, I forgot I was growing a baby, and then I just decided that I was not gonna make any milk for it." That doesn't happen.
No, the whole process, it all goes together. Your body gets triggered to make breast milk when the placenta, which is what nourished your baby,
right, leaves
your body. That tells your body, okay, let's make some milk now. That hormonal exchange when the placenta leaves the body. So that it's not going to like nothing that doesn't happen. Nothing happens. No milk ever comes in. Nothing. I was completely nothing. Never had any milk. I don't know. That's a medical miracle to me because I can't imagine that would even happen.
Yeah. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. do not worry about that. So yeah, so those are my myths. I can't believe we didn't have the same ones. That was
I know, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna keep playing this game. We'll in future episodes we'll have to keep score.
I know.
Today is 0. 0-0.
But no, that's so cool. But the milk supply myths are definitely, oh my gosh.
And we could do like 10 more episodes on that.
Yeah, we definitely could. But I hope that was helpful.
Yes, thanks for listening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.